Hello and welcome to another episode of Prunk Plays, and this time we're playing World of Warships, and I'm going to be looking at one of my favourite ships, which is the Russian Murmansk, which on paper is more or less the same as the Omaha Tier 5 American cruiser. And if we go to the tech tree here, because although I don't actually own an Omaha yet, you can see I'm at the Phoenix and on my way there. But if you look at the two ships, you'll see that they're more or less identical. And in fact, the reason for this is I believe the Murmansk was actually an Omaha class cruiser, which was on a lend-lease to the Russians during the Second World War. But if you want to know more about that, you'll have to wiki it. So let's go back to the port screen here and have a look at some stats. It will start with survivability, which scores 34. Which is exactly the same as the Omaha, same as the same hit points, which is 26,800. Artillery, we have a main battery firing range of 14.8, which is extendable out to about 17-18 kilometers, because on this ship you actually have a scout plane, which is handy in some situations. You also have 8 main batteries of 152mm, which is exactly the same as the Omaha. The only difference is the Omaha fully upgraded has only 8 guns. The first two hull upgrades you have 10 guns, but I don't believe you have the scout plane option, not until you get the last hull. So that would explain the difference there on the guns. Torpedoes, it only scores 15. I don't really recommend using torpedoes. What I tend to use torpedoes for on this ship is for throwing people's aim off, because if they've got torpedoes heading towards them, they're quite likely to zigzag and not really pay attention on shooting on you. But it does have a slower reload rate than the Omaha. But the range is 8 kilometers, and on the Omaha I believe it's 5.5. AA guns scores 21, which again is exactly the same. Actually no, I'm telling a lie, it's one better than the Omaha. I don't find the AA guns to be anything fantastic on this ship, but they are good in a self-defense role, and it can help a little bit to cover other ships such as battleships. Maneuverability. Now the maximum speed is 34.4 knots, which is 0.1 knots faster than the Omaha. Yes, I don't know why. The turn-in circle radius is 590 meters, which is 10 meters less than the Omaha. Again, I don't know why. And the rudder shift time, which is a whopping 4.8 seconds quicker than the Omaha. No idea. I'm not saying Russian biased, but you never know. So the rudder shift time on the Murmansk is 5 seconds, which is great. I love the 5-second rudder shift time. It's really useful when you're dodging torpedoes. And now let's move on to concealment, which scores 53, which is again one better than the Omaha. Notice the pattern. Surface detectability range here is 13.1 kilometers, and on the Omaha it's 13.5. Air detectability range is 7.3, on the Omaha it's 6.7. Yes, I know. The ship, as I say, is more or less exactly the same as the Omaha, but all these slight differences mount up, and I think the main difference I notice is the rudder shift time. It absolutely makes a difference to this ship. Anyway, let's go over some modules. Now obviously this is a premium ship, so is no upgrades at all. It comes fully upgraded, or as upgraded as you're going to get it. I have, as you can see here, added a main battery modification 1 to reduce the risk of magazine detonation and my batteries being damaged. I have also put, well, I tend to put on every ship, which is a damage control system modification 1, just to reduce the risk of flooding and fire. I haven't put anything on the second slot yet because I'm saving my money, because I'm trying to work my way up the tech tree, as you've just seen. Anyway, that's the Murmansk. So what does it play like? Well, let's have a look at the game. Okay, so here we are in Fault Line in the domination game. The teams are quite evenly matched. It's a tier 5 game. We've got one more cruiser and they've got one more destroyer. So all in all, a pretty good game. Anyway, let's skip ahead to some action, I think.
Action stations.
So we're heading down the left-hand side of the map here towards the A capture point. You can see our Wix has spotted a couple of torpedo bombers coming in. They're either going to go for me or the Miyogi. If he's got any sense, he'll go for the Miyogi. Now both the A and the B capture points are being captured. Probably by the enemy destroyers. You can see I'm opening up on these torpedo bombers here. Even though they are tier 4, do manage to take a couple of them down. Take a couple of shots at the enemy Miyogi. Not really expecting to hit it. I'm more interested in manoeuvring away from the torpedo bombers at the moment. But I do manage to score a hit. Give him another salvo while still manoeuvring. And heading for behind this island. Do manage to set him on fire. And I launch another salvo at him. Which look like they're going to miss. So I'm going to go around this island here, and I've managed to pick up a Phoenix as backup, and we're going to head down to the A cap and see if we can recap it. There is a St. Louis in the A capture point, although I think he's going to fall prey to enemy torpedoes. Yep, there he's gone. St. Louis is a good ship, but it doesn't maneuver very well. You can see some smoke there in the A cap, so I'm being very cautious as I'm going down. Bearing in mind that it could be one or maybe more destroyers in there. So both the A and the B capture points now are in enemy hands, although we are capturing C. We hopefully need to start doing something, otherwise we're going to be too far behind on points to win. Now there is a cruiser and a destroyer there. I do make a mistake. I don't know which one to shoot, and I end up shooting nobody. So I'm just about to select armor piercing. So after my next salvo, I should be firing AP. And there we are, I'm loading AP now. I do fire off a spread of torpedoes here. Not with the intent on hitting him, but just to keep busy so he doesn't aim at me. So, another salvo goes in. The Tenri is a very manoeuvrable cruiser. But that was just bad shooting. Should have hit that. But I do manage to get a salvo in here. And another salvo, which gives me a citadel. It brings him down to just below 2,000 health. And he has launched torpedoes, which did manage to hit the Phoenix, but I managed to get the killing blow. So he managed to get off another spread of torpedoes, which managed to take the Phoenix out. So I'm going to head into the A capture point now and see if I can reclaim that. Give our team some points. More torpedo bombers coming in here now as I fire a salvo at that battleship. I've reloaded heat, hoping to set him on fire. I do make a bit of a rookie mistake here. I can see that those torpedo bombers have just dropped a spread, and I keep moving in a straight line. But I do manage to take 2 of them down. So now with heat loaded, I'm going to give this battleship another salvo, hoping to set him on fire. And this is where I pay for my mistake. Not quick enough to dodge them. So I take a bit of damage, quite a chunk of damage, and some flooding. So I'm going to let him have another salvo and repair the flooding.
Problem solved. called, sir.
Now I do manage to set him on fire, which is always nice. That's when I noticed a destroyer in line, so I give him a blast. I always try and prioritise destroyers, because they can be a right pain in the ass. So one more salvo, if they hit, that should finish him off. It's looking good, he disappears, but it's too late.
We've sunk an enemy
And that's my
destroyer.
second kill of the game.
Our team has taken the lead.
So we now still trailing by about 100 points, but we do have the A and C cap. So I'm turning my ship around here, try and get a few volley off to that little cluster of battleships in there. I'm not quite sure where our Miyogi's going. I think he's going to go and give the Langley some cover. Not sure why, but he must have his reasons. So, target the South Carolina. Heat loaded. Give him a volley. Do manage to set him on fire, which is always nice. As soon as he's burning, give a volley to the St. Louis, see if I can set him on fire as well. Do manage to dodge some incoming fire there. No, no burning for him. Miyagi gets a volley. Hopefully I can set him on fire, which I do. So I'm now going around the back of the island here. Hopefully attack from the other flank. I would imagine they're concentrating their fire on the Congo. So they've got 2 carriers, 4 battleships, and a St. Louis left. But we are still trailing on points. I just bring up the torpedoes there just to get a general idea of which direction the South Carolina was heading. Now he's 5.7 kilometers away. Could fire a spread here. I'm thinking about it, but I just let guns instead. Somebody hits him for a lot of damage there, so I pile in with a bit more to set him on fire, which I do. When you get these rapid firing cruisers and they're firing heat, they can be devastating to battleships. Another salvo go in. I do launch torpedoes. Again, it's not on the hope of hitting him, it's more of a case to keep him busy, but somebody else takes him out. So, right behind him, in perfect line for my shots, is the St. Louis. Selecting AP now to fire against the cruiser. Set him on fire, but this time I'm firing AP. See if we can get a couple of citadels. We don't, but we do hit him for 4,300 damage, which is always nice. Torpedo bombers coming in again. They do seem to like me this game, I don't know why. Managed to take another one down, mind. Do remember this time to maneuver for the torpedoes.
Attention. Reporting the target.
And I get the kill on the St. Louis.
Enemy cruiser.
He must have burned to death. So we've lost the A cap again, but I am heading towards the B cap. We are ahead in points now by about 100. There's Miyogi in the distance. Fire off for salvo. And another one, which... oh, somebody hit him there, took him right down. So this game is more or less in the bag now. They've only got a Congo and 2 Langleys left. Now it's time to get a bit of revenge on the Langleys, I think. So So I'm going to capture the B point first, just in case. Never take anything for granted in this game. And the Myogis come down to save the day and help me join the B. So I'm giving this Langley what for. Thank you for dropping all those torps and flooding me. Not sure which one it is, but he's the closest. So it's payback for him, I think. So again, fire and heat you at the carrier, hoping to set them on fire, which I do. Once they're on fire, they can't launch or land any planes. There's the Confederate for me. Thank you very much. So I'm still piling in volleys to this Langley. Hoping to get the killing blow. There's torps going in from the torpedo bombers, and they managed to get the killing blow. But now I can see the other Langley in the distance. He's out of range, so I launch my scout plane, which gives me enough range to get a few hits on him. I only tend to use the scout plane in emergencies because I find it very awkward to aim with this view. My shooting's bad enough as it is. So another salvo going in. And that's him gone. Managed to get the killing blow, which is the 4th kill. Now there's only the Congo left, and we have the B and C points. I'm definitely not going to bother to head back for the A point. I'm going to go and see if I can get a few shots on this Congo. So he is just out of range there, 19.1. Even with my scout plane up, I think the range is only about 17.6 or something like that. So I'm going to have to motor a bit. So I'm clearing around the island here. I can see him. He's very low in health, so he's not going to last long. Looks like our friend in the Myogi here has arrived to save the day. That's my extended range down, so he's still going to be out of range for me. Incoming fire there on the Myogi, and he misses. He only has to spit at the Congo now, and he's dead, and that looks like the end of him. Yep, he's gone. So let's see how we did in that game then. So that's probably a 200k game there because I got a couple of missions complete. Confederate award as well, which is always nice. Look what we did on the team. Second on the team, 4 ship kills and 6 plane kills. Not bad. Yeah, it's about 67k damage, I think, there. You can tell I almost did as much fire damage as I did with armor-piercing shells. Anyway, let's go back to the port screen and I'll give you my conclusion on the Murmansk. Well, my final thoughts on the Murmansk. I think it's an absolutely fantastic ship. I can't highly recommend it enough. I very, very rarely have a bad game in it. It earns me plenty of money, and more importantly, it's fun to play. And being only a tier 5 cruiser, it's not overly expensive to buy. I believe it's £9.04 or your regional equivalent in the World of Warships store at the moment, and that includes a port slot. Or you can buy it in the game for, I think it was 3,000 gold or doubloons or whatever they're calling it. So yeah, go ahead and purchase it. I don't think you'll be sorry. Now there are plenty of other premium ships to choose from in the game, some tiers lower, some tier higher. I think the Murmansk strikes the perfect balance between what you pay for what you get. I mean, I have purchased the Atago, which I'm pleased with, don't get me wrong. but if it came to a choice between having one or the other, I would choose the Murmansk every time. Just because it's such a fun ship. I'm not saying the Otago isn't, it is a fun ship as well, but I just don't seem to have any bad games in it. And I've watched a couple of other reviews online of other YouTubers talking about the Murmansk, and they all seem to think the same thing as me, which is you just don't seem to have a bad game. They do come along, don't get me wrong, but it's a fun ship. If you got a few pounds to throw at the game, then yeah, you could do a lot worse, put it that way. Well, okay, that's all I've got to say on the Murmansk, and thank you all for watching, and please remember to leave a like or hit the subscribe button in the bottom right hand corner, and leave any comments. Maybe you agree with me about the Murmansk, maybe you disagree with me about the Murmansk. Leave some comments, I'd be interested to read them. Okay, thanks, and I'll catch you next time.